everybody, and welcome to True Sports FC. I am your host, Sal Besharat, along with my lovely hostess, Abriella. And today we will be interviewing the man, the myth, the legend, the greatest soccer player, football player in Canadian history and probably North American history, Dwayne De Rosario. Dwayne, thanks for being in studio with us.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure, man. So listen, let's just get right into it. I want to start. Your first memory of football. I mean, like mine growing up, I remember 94 World Cup, Argentina, Greece, Diego Maradona running and screaming into the camera. That was the moment that made me fall in love with football, that whole tournament. What was it for you that got you into the sport?
Well, it was just, first of all, following my brothers and my family's passion. You know, my parents came from Guyana, and my dad was very big into football. So I would go with him to all of his soccer matches. He was playing in the West Indian T&D League for many different Caribbean teams back then, and I would follow behind and watch them play. But while they were playing, I was also playing with the other kids around the community, you know, and just fell in love with the game, you know, from just watching my brothers play, and I always wanted to be better than them, and you know, I just really took to the sport and grew a passion for it. And then obviously, I think '86 when Canada made the World Cup, it was such a big thing in Canada, and to watch them play in Mexico was I think that really pushed me to really want to have an opportunity to play in a World Cup one day.
Nice. So let's fast forward. You know, you join the MLS. You have, you know, one of the greatest careers in the history of the league. So 25 years MLS celebrating their anniversary. Talk to me about your time there and the growth of the league and what you've seen.
Yeah, I mean, the MLS from when I started in 2001, from where it is now, has grown tremendously. You know, in the simple fact of just the academy structure now in place, that youth that are aspiring to go the professional route have tangible opportunity through the academy, which for me growing up, we never had that. We didn't even have a professional team or organization growing up. So all our dreams of being pro was overseas, right? So most of us had to go overseas to start our football careers. At the time, thankfully, when I was young, was Toronto Lynx at the time, who helped me to give me a platform to showcase my abilities and talent. And then I went to the U20 World Cup, and from there I went to Germany. And from Germany, it didn't really work out the way I anticipated. And I saw in '96 an opportunity developing here in North America. First, of course, in the U.S. with MLS kicking off. And I knew it was going to be big. There were some great players like Valderrama, Echeverry, playing at that time, and I always drawn interest in playing, the opportunity to play in America in the MLS. Obviously, we know that anything America touches, they want to be the best. They want to be the best at everything. So I knew that it was just a matter of time where the league was going to blow up where we see today. You know, we see more teams being added to the league. We're seeing bigger names, younger names starting to see the MLS as a resource to play the sport that they love, and now make a good living from it. And thankfully, we see that same passion developing here in Toronto, in my hometown. And to see the inaugural year in 2007, Toronto FC having a team in MLS, for me was just, I knew it was just a matter of time when I'll come back home. But I also knew it was going to take some time to develop, you know, to develop that level of professionalism. And thankfully, I was able to come back to my club in 2009 and help to further my passion in my hometown and help grow the game. Nice.
So listen, you had a prestigious career, many great goals, many great moments. The one that sticks out to me, your free kick versus the LA Galaxy. I want to know what's going through your mind. You're lined up, you have the wall, and you hit this ball around the outside of the wall, the outside of the net, and then bing at top corner. Just that takes some big cojones, my friend. What's going through your mind? Like, why did you do that?
Yeah, I mean, at that time, I was having a good year, probably one of my better years, complete years. And I remember I was actually practicing various styles of free kicks for throughout that year, and I hit a few of those in training actually, and I just found a sweet spot where I said, you know what, in a game I'm gonna try this. I didn't anticipate it to be that game and that far out, but we were doing well in that game, so I said, you know what, let me go for it.
I mean, that clip of that goal, you're still getting clicks on it
And
right now.
everything happened accordingly. You know, I just hit it the right spot. It went the right place, and yeah, definitely one of my highlight goals for sure. That and probably my first goal for Canada.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who was that against?
Man, that one I can't remember.
You can't-
But I remember the feeling.
You remember the feeling?
I remember the feeling. I want to say it was like, was it Korea, North Korea, or something like that? Man, I wish I could remember.
How many
I think
caps
so.
did it take you to get your first goal for Canada? Or was that your first game? First game, first cap, first goal?
No, actually, technically my first cap was an unofficial cap, but I got an assist. Paul Stalteri scored the goal. Was against Portugal here at Varsity Stadium.
Old Varsity Stadium.
Old Varsity Stadium.
Classic.
Yeah, some great matches there. But my first, no, I can't remember who that.
We'll go back. You tell us when you remember that one in there.
All right. So can you tell us how come you never made the move to Europe?
Well, actually, as I said, going back to my story, that's where I left the U20s, playing for Canada in Malaysia U20 World Cup, and a team from Germany signed me. So I was playing in Germany for 2 years. But that experience was East Germany at the time, 97, 98. It was a different culture,
right?
Should I say? There was a lot of racism there. Mm-hmm. It was a different experience, different culture. I was actually turned down a 5-year contract when I was 15 at AC Milan.
Oh,
wow, that's a big club, especially at that time.
Yeah.
Turn down that kind of deal.
Yeah. But you know what? Again, I went over there unequipped. Right, I'm here's a street kid, you know, hustling, hanging out in the street, doing stuff that I guess for me was normal in our community, right? And now you're in a position where it's like regiment, you know, Italians, you know, especially AC Milan, it's very like, eat at this time, you train at this time, and I found a hard time adjusting. Obviously, at that time, there's no social media, so you're there completely on your own. Before I went to Milan, I was at Regina. Another feeder club for AC Milan, did well there, and then that's how I got the opportunity to train at AC Milan. Played actually an exhibition game against guys like Maldini, Baresi, George Weah was on a team.
That squad
was Desai.
One of the best squads.
Yeah,
and George Weah won a.
So I got a funny story. So I'm there. Using the men's room, right? And Davids comes right beside me, right? And he goes, "Hey, man, you're that kid from Canada." So here I am getting excited, like, "Yo, it's Edgar Davids knows me," right? Like I feel good. And he's kind of like does a head shake. He goes, "Man, what they want with a Canadian here?"
Ooh.
And at the time, I was like, "Man, that's a real messed up thing to say, you know." But at the same time, I'm like, what do they want with a Canadian here? You know, because
he was a pit bull. I don't know if you could step up to Davids back then.
Shoot, man, I'm a street cat. I'm not afraid of anybody. You know what I'm saying?
What I want to hear.
Yeah. It's even Davids, it doesn't matter. But it brought a perception to me that something I experienced, that I understood how the world viewed Canada when it came to soccer. Right. And from that point on, I was on a mission to prove that we have talent here. But I wasn't ready to make that full transition. A 5-year contract for me seemed like the rest of my life. You know, I just was unprepared. I was there by myself. They flew my dad in to help me to say, listen, you know, we want this kid. But already my mind was made up. Right now, had I had the resources and the financial, made my parents the financial opportunity to fly down there earlier, to make my welcoming a little bit more easy on me, it probably would have been different. But you know, I wasn't ready to make that transition. But I was able to still at a very young age have an opportunity to train Barcelona when they just signed the phenomenon, Ronaldo. I was there with the youth academy. I was at Marseille when both the Guzman brothers were just there. We all went together. And it's just, I don't know, man, from time I didn't take that AC Milan opportunity, I felt like I was cursed after that. Like everything just didn't fall into the place at the right time. And so I had this German opportunity come up. I didn't even go down there. It was with Jason Bent, and we're like, okay, you know, I'm taking it. I don't care what's happening. I'm going to take this opportunity, not knowing that I probably should have looked into it a little bit further, because East Germany at that time was very tough living. But we made the best. We made the most of it. It didn't work out. I came back, played for the Kickers for a little bit. I used that as a platform to get into the MLS, and thankfully it worked out accordingly.
Nice.
Awesome. So I'm sure people want to know, where does the infamous De Rose celebration come from?
The shake and bake. The shake and bake started with a team I grew up with playing in Malvern called Malvern Magic.
Okay.
We were playing in the Robbie one year, and we put a beating on a team. I can't remember. And the headlines was Malvern Magic put the shake and bake on a team. Right? Actually, I saw the article, right? And I wanted to have a goal celebration, my own goal celebration, that represented, my community. And again, going back to when I play, I always want to showcase that, especially kids from Scarborough, Canada, there's talent, right? And I want to be the forerunner of that. So, and I did it in my first game in MLS, right, against the LA Galaxy, my first goal. And from there, it just stuck. And that was it.
That's awesome. All right. So who is the best player that you have played with in your professional career?
Wow, that's a tough one. I've been fortunate to play with a lot of great players. Some players maybe went under the radar unnoticed, but in terms of international global star, I would have to say Thierry Henry.
All right.
His knowledge of the game, his understanding of the game was amazing. For national team, I mean, I was able to play with, guys like Craig Forrest, great career, De Guzman, great career, Thibaut Hutchinson, great career. Man, there's so many other guys, but those are the ones that definitely stand out for me.
All right. And who is your favorite player to watch right now?
I'm a Messi fan.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the way Messi could forecast the end result. He the way he creates plays with his movement, with his passing, with his ability. And why I really like him so much is because he defines the odds, right? I grew up in a system of Canada which is very English, Scottish, you big kick and run, and I didn't play that style. Right. I was flair, I was agile, I was West Indian culture, I was rhythm, movement. We adapted a very Brazilian, South American, Latin style, right, in our plays. So I like those players that, at a time when I think football in a world scale was going after the big, strong, those players. And here comes Messi, right, one of the smallest guys in the field. And something that even parents in my academy always say, oh, my kid's small. Do you think he's going to make it? I'm like, look at Messi. Right. He's 5'2", but he looks like a beast out there when he's playing. You don't recognize it because he's so talented and he's so gifted. And some of the goals he scores is just, you just have to shake your head and say, wow, year after year after year after year. It's not like he's taking a year off. Right. Every year. Yeah, you could put Cristiano in the same thing because every year, I don't think we'll ever see, if we ever fortunate to see a duo so dominant in a world sport like football, and those two keep dominating every single year. It's unheard of.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think we're very lucky. Whenever we come to talk about, Messi and Ronaldo, I always tell them, like, we're blessed.
Yeah.
Like, Maradona had nobody against him.
Right.
It was just Johan Cruyff had nobody against him. Pele had. So the fact that we had two generational talents playing at the same time and at Real Madrid and Barcelona, arguably the biggest rivalry in the world.
Right.
I mean, you can't ask for anything better.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were very lucky.
And a lot of people argue, okay, well, he just plays at Barcelona. I'm like, well, where else does he want to? Well, where else? That brand of football is so attractive. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't need to leave because it's not to say if he plays England. If he dominates England teams in Champions League. He dominates the Italians team in the Champions League. He dominates the German teams in the Champions League. So if he was to play there, right, now, do you have the players around? Does he need the players around? No, because we've seen him single-handedly destroy teams, right? So it's tough, I mean, you look at the unfortunate story, as we were talking earlier about Kobe, right? Now, no one's going to say, oh, could Kobe be the same star if he played in the Bulls? But he's still a superstar. What he did at Lakers for one team his whole career is, I think it's reputable. It's something that's I think it's rare that we see one player play his whole career at one club. I think there's value to that, as we're speaking guys like Totti. And, if Messi could stay at Barca, why not? He's given up so much for the club already to leave that legacy behind and maybe start somewhere else. May not be his cup of tea.
Nice. So you mentioned Kobe, you mentioned basketball. You're a Raptors fan? You're an NBA fan?
Big basketball fan. Actually, I had to decide between basketball and soccer.
Nice. So
growing up.
What was it like growing up, not last season with the whole Raptors hype, winning the championship?
Amazing. I was on the parade. I was right there with them. I'm good friends with Jamal McGlure. We grew up playing basketball together. Actually, beat him quite a few times. Just putting out there. When he played with Wexford.
If it was a soccer match, maybe.
Churchill was Scarborough champions, man. Bantamman Junior. He knows that, but it's all good. He took it to another level. I have no talk now. I mean, it's amazing. Another local star that played an all-star that should have been an all-star MVP. But obviously it's in LA, so Shaq, they gave that to Shaq. But what a game he had that year. But I give that guy a lot of props from where he came from and what he was able to do with his sport. So, but Raptors winning was a dream come true for all of us.
All right, what was your favorite moment with the Canadian national team?
Oh, well, besides getting called up by Bob Landuzzi for my first national team experience, I'd have to say Gold Cup win was the highlight of Canadian soccer besides the 86 World Cup up to today. And to be a part of that team, to be a part of that squad, and not only that, the teams that were involved in the Gold Cup at that time, Ecuador, Colombia, North Korea or Japan was in there too. We beat them on a coin toss to get in. Oh, wow. So there was just so much things that went on before that as a team, right, that we really rallied around together. And I think Holger did a great job of putting together a solid team. And then, of course, reaping the benefits of winning that Gold Cup, we went on to the Confederation Cups, where we played Cameroon, Brazil, and Japan. And that was an unbelievable experience. So I definitely have to say that was the highlight of my national team experience.
What made that team so special? Just the group of players and everything. And everything just clicked all at the right time for you guys.
Well, one, we were all playing. Right, we're all playing at good levels. Two is before that tournament started, we're going through a big debate in terms of player fees and stuff like that. And a lot of people don't know. Right before that Gold Cup, we were gonna actually walk. Wow. Yeah, right before, like a day before. So close. The president came in and said, "Okay, guys." And so that whole week, right, we're negotiating back and forth and we just came together at the right time. We said, you know what? We showed our team. I was struggling with this word, camaraderie. Camaraderie. Right. We showed that, and it was a bond that couldn't break, and we brought that onto the field. And I still believe that's why we were able to win that coin toss. I mean, we got through our to the quarterfinals. Yeah,
you had to play the games too,
because everybody was tied right across the board on goals for, goals against, points.
And you guys were playing a pretty good Colombia team at the time in the finals there.
All the team. Trinidad was good. Mexico. We beat all the big countries that was in that tournament to win the Gold Cup. So it was amazing experience.
Nice.
It was an empty stadium. But it was everything to us.
I remember watching it on TV. So you felt like you were there. You could feel the energy.
Oh yeah, definitely unbelievable.
Alfonzo Davis. Mm-hmm. This kid goes to Germany at 18 and is playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world in Bayern Munich and is now their starting left back. And people are calling this kid one of the best left backs in the world. Kid is 19 years old now, the future of Canadian soccer. Like, what makes this kid so special?
Again, I think his understanding, his level of understanding of the game, full opportunity of his family moving to Canada, and his full opportunity of him, joining the Whitecaps, and the importance of the role they played with him getting to sign with a massive club, and to perform the way he's doing in, week out, fearlessly. It's great. I'm so happy for the kid, and he's very humble off the field. He's open for advice So he takes that very well. He's not cocky. He's very grounded, which is very, very important for a 19-year-old. Any other 19-year-old that signs for Bayern, they're probably like, "Hey, man, you can't talk to me. I'm Bayern," you know. But he's very grounded, and I think it's refreshing. It's great to see a kid of his age and his caliber playing with such a world dominant team as Bayern, and creating more opportunities for other kids coming through the pipelines to have those same opportunities, and finally putting an eye towards soccer in Canada.
Well, speaking of Canadian soccer, you know, we have Alfonzo Davis playing in Munich. You have someone like Jonathan David, who is one of the top scorers in the Belgian league and is being courted by a bunch of, you know, top European clubs. You have guys like Liam Miller playing in the Liverpool Academy. You know, Liverpool, arguably the best team in Europe right now. What's the future of Canadian soccer looking like, and what do we got to do to get to that stage where we are, you know, with the Mexicos, the Costa Ricas, the U.S.? How do we get to the top of CONCACAF? Oh, I hit a nerve on that one.
Yeah, I know we have enough time for me to go through all that, but you know, I mean, and you have to also mention guys like Atiba, Milan, Junior Hoylett, because they bring experience. Yeah. And you can't replace experience. You have to always have the experience to teach the younger ones what it's like, because they don't know what it's like to go to Azteca and play in Mexico. They do. They don't know what it's like to have pea bags thrown at you and batteries and objects flying at you and people pulling your fire alarms. We don't experience that here, right? It's a complete culture shock when you go to these Central American, Caribbean countries. They do everything in their power to deter you, distract you, to create fear.
Like what? What's one of the craziest stories? International duty for Canada.
There's so many, but I mean, last World Cup qualifier, Panama.
Yep.
Right, big game for us. So they're partying in front of our hotel, setting off bombs, like it sounds like real bombs, you know, but they're firecrackers.
Like a war zone.
Yeah, all night till like 4 or 5 in the morning, revving their bikes, pulling the fire alarm, crank calling. So so the doctors gave us some guys who wanted sleeping pills and some guys who wanted earbuds to sleep, because that's how loud the noise were. They're shining those lights, you know, those lasers through. Like, I'm not talking about 1 or 2. I'm talking about all over, right, in your room. And you know, they, for some reason, they know what floor we're on, you know. So you got to deal with that, and it's just consistent throughout the whole day. You're going in the bus. You got 2 military bikes on both sides, one in the front, one in the front. Your old ladies are flicking you off, kids are flicking you off. That doesn't happen here. When they come, they're like, "Oh, welcome to beautiful Toronto. Enjoy. Stay at the nice room. Enjoy the field. You want water? Oh, we got lots of water for you." So, there, you don't get the same treatment, right? There, it's like you got one thing of water, and they play in the hottest time of the day, right? So there's so many layers that I can go through that it's against you that you have to overcome. So people think it's just a game, but there's so much more outside the game that when you're talking about qualifying for such a impactful opportunity like the World Cup, because it could change the whole landscape of a country, like it's done now for Panama, right? And now Panama's a real threat. Now we got to be very careful, because we talk about the Mexicos and U.S. and Costa Ricas, but guess what? Panama just made the World Cup, and they had a lot of funding, and they're now are putting a lot of resources into developing their league that a lot of South Americans are going into now. So, you know, we have to really pick up the pace with this sport if we really want to compete with these major countries.
Okay, so, you know, talking about academies, let's talk about, you know, the D-Row Academy.
Yeah. You
know, what's going on over there, and, you know, how's that helping out with the development of Canadian soccer players right now?
Well, for me, I'm just trying to do my part to give back. I started with my foundation, working with inner city kids. And then I wanted to pursue my passion when I retired and to start my academy, to create a platform where I could share the knowledge that I've learned over the years with some of the kids that grew up here that don't really understand or want to get to pro, but don't really understand what's the steps and what's the road to get to professional. So it's a lot of work. By no means is it easy. It is challenging here sometimes. I don't get the support as everybody thinks I probably would get. So and that's challenging in itself. But I'm a street guy. I'm a gritty guy, and I don't stop. So my passion is what fuels and my will to make sure that these kids get the best opportunity possible and platform that they can have more opportunities than I had growing up.
All right. Can you tell us about the DRO Foundation?
Yeah, the DRO Foundation is a program I started in 2012. I'm a product of inner city after school programming.
Right.
So if it wasn't for after school programming, who knows what I'd be doing right now. I definitely probably wouldn't be here talking about football. I might be talking about something else. But, you know, I just find a big need for that, especially growing up in a single parent household, that we're talking about, as we see right now, violence is constantly increasing.
It is.
Right. There's so much more facilities, right? But there's not a lot of opportunities for inner city kids, right? These facilities are not in a lot of accessible for a lot of these kids, because unfortunately we have lots of facilities, but now you have to pay the price to maintain these facilities. Right. And a lot of kids in inner city communities, especially single moms and pops, they can't afford that. So my parents couldn't afford that. Today, for the academies, growing up, there's no way I would be able to pay the price for academies. Yeah. So I created an after school program for inner city kids. We're at Malvern Family Resource Center in Malvern, and we do a program every Tuesday, after school program, where we use soccer as a vehicle to release some of the kids' stress, frustration, their running, but also to create better citizens. So we have a financial literacy program, and we do healthy nutrition, because we try to teach the kids, listen, even though you don't have a lot, you can still make conscious choices based on your diet. Because just even if you don't make a lot, you can still make conscious choices on how you spend your $5. You know, none say you can't spend, but put 3 aside, because you never know tomorrow for another day. And a lot of these kids, they don't understand these concepts. As small as they are, they don't understand those concepts. They'll go and buy a candy, or they can buy maybe a fruit, or maybe something that's a little more healthier. Right. But then they can't sit still. The teachers complain, oh, they can't sit still in class. Well, because the kids are full of sugar and they're anxious, and they can't. I couldn't sit still, right? Because I'm full of energy, right? I could barely sit still in the interview, much less, because I had a lot of energy, and the outlet was sports for me. Right, sports was the outlet. I played badminton, I played soccer, I did track, I did everything, a single thing to get out of class. But I think these kids need the same opportunity. A lot of those programs have been cut. So again, I'm putting my front foot forward and trying to provide opportunities for kids.
That's awesome.
Nice. Okay, Dwayne, we're going to do a little rapid fire to end the interview off.
Before rapid fire.
Uh-oh.
February 29th, I have my gala, right? And I encourage everyone to come out and support my gala. Again, the all funds raised is towards my after school programming. I want to expand in more areas, like the Flemos, like the Jane and Finches, like the Regent Parks. So come on, show your support. February 29th.
Where can they get that information? There's a website.
DeroFoundation.com.
DeroFoundation.com. Perfect. All right, let's go into rapid fire right now. Okay, we're going to talk about the Champions League quarterfinals. I'm going to name off each match. You just give me your winner. Okay. All right. Dortmund, PSG.
Oh, that's a tough one, man.
Eric Haaland right now is crushing it. This kid's got 5
Dortmund.
goals.
I gotta say Dortmund.
I like that pick.
Yeah.
Atletico, Liverpool.
Oh man, I would say Liverpool.
Nice.
Liverpool is actually, I think, my favorite world team right now. Even though I'm a Barca fan, I have to give props where props is due, man. What they're doing is unbelievable.
That team is just unreal right now. Spurs, RB Leipzig.
Man, these are all tough. I would say Spurs.
Nice. Okay. Chelsea, Bayern Munich.
I gotta go with my boy Alfonso Byron.
That's what I wanted to hear. I was gonna get a little upset there. Valencia,
even though you're wearing blue, but it's all good.
Oh, that was
Chelsea blue.
This is a light blue. This is more of a Man City blue. This is a Man City blue right there. Okay,
good one.
Valencia, Atalanta.
Wow, that's a well balanced game.
And that's the underdog game too. That was the draw that
game. I would say probably Valencia.
Nice. Napoli and your favorite team, Barca.
Napoli.
No,
Barcelona, man. That's
okay. 2 more here. Lyon and Juventus.
Juve.
Nice. Okay, last one. Real Madrid, Manchester City.
Man,
that's the tough one.
That is a tough one. The way I would have to say Real, because their defense right now is unbreakable. Right, what they're doing in La Liga, their goal against average is unbelievable. But then Man City's strike force that's going to be a tough one. But I have to go with Real Madrid.
Nice, perfect. Well, Dwayne, listen, We want to thank you for coming in. We really
Thank you.
appreciate your
Thanks for having
time.
me.
We had a great interview.
Thank you.
And
Pleasure.
everyone else, tune in to True Sports FC. Hit us up on Instagram, and we're gonna have more feed. We're gonna start posting promotional stuff heading into the Euro Cup. Get our picks, our predictions in. So click, like, follow. We look forward to seeing all of you. Thanks.
Peace.